As Abraham Goldman's Alzheimer's progressed, the memories he had suppressed began to surface. He would cry to his granddaughter Rachel, confessing, "I gave the SS the list. 200 names. I caused them all to die." Rachel initially thought these words were effects of his illness, until she found her grandfather's secret diary. Welcome to the Human Stories. Before we begin this deeply sensitive true story, tell us in the comments which city you're watching from today, and if you believe the most difficult truths from history's darkest periods must be told. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because some truths wait 80 years, but they always surface eventually. In the assisted living facility in Queens, New York, 95-year-old Abraham Goldman was a revered figure, former advisor to the Holocaust Memorial Museum, known as the only Jew who escaped from Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. The nurses called him Miracle Abraham. Every Sunday, his granddaughter Rachel would visit him. 32-year-old Rachel was a history professor at Columbia University. She had grown up with her grandfather's miracle survival story since childhood. Abraham's Alzheimer's diagnosis dated back 6 months. It had started as mild forgetfulness, gradually becoming more serious. But strangely, while forgetting recent events, he remembered details from 80 years ago with crystal clarity. This seemed normal to Rachel. Alzheimer's patients generally remember old memories better, the doctor had said. But she didn't know that these old memories would forever change their family history. In October 2023, when Rachel visited her grandfather, she heard the first strange confession. Abraham was staring out the window and whispered, "I wrote it in the diary, Hans Meyer's name. The SS took him the next day." Rachel initially thought this was an effect of the illness. "Grandpa, who is Hans Meyer?" "From Barrack 7. Strong man but went hungry. His name was on the list." "What list, Grandpa?" Abraham suddenly went quiet, as if confused. "I don't know. Why am I talking about this?" Rachel noted this as a side effect of the illness. In November 2023, Abraham's nightmares began. Nurse Janet called Rachel. "Your grandfather screams at night. He says things like, 'Forgive Johann. I was forced. We're giving him sedatives,' but..." Rachel stayed at the care facility that night. At midnight, she heard her grandfather's voice. 200 names. I gave them all the names. I gave them to SS Oberfuhrer Kramer." Rachel rushed to his side. Abraham was soaked in sweat but awake. "Grandpa, who are you talking about?" "Rachel, is that you?" Abraham looked confused. I was dreaming. Who were those 200 people?" Abraham lay down quietly. "I don't know, dear. Old memories get mixed up." Rachel consulted with Dr. Patricia Chen about her grandfather's condition. "Dr. Chen, my grandfather says very specific things. S names, numbers. Could these be real? Confabulation is common in Alzheimer's patients. Real memories can mix with fiction. What if my grandfather mentions 200 names, lists?" "Mrs. Goldman, your grandfather's experience at Bergen-Belsen was very traumatic. The brain sometimes creates alternative scenarios to process trauma. So it's made up. Unconsciously, yes. But if it's disturbing him, maybe you should consult with a professional trauma specialist." Rachel was relieved, but the truth was very different. In December 2023, Abraham's fabrications became more detailed. "When we stayed in Barrack 7, SS Oberfuhrer Kramer came. 'Abraham,' he said, 'you're an intelligent man. If you help us, you and your daughter will live.'" Rachel heard the word daughter for the first time. "Grandpa, what daughter?" "Ruth, little Ruth, my daughter." Rachel was shocked. She had never heard that her grandfather had a daughter who died as a child. "Ruth was never mentioned in the family, Grandpa." Abraham began to cry. "Because I couldn't save her either." Rachel began researching family records. She examined her grandfather's file in the Holocaust Memorial Museum archives. Official records stated, Abraham Goldman, survivor of Bergen-Belsen, family, wife Sarah Goldman, and daughter Ruth Goldman, age 5. Wife and daughter died in the camp. Rachel was surprised. Her grandfather had never mentioned Ruth. Why? When she visited her grandfather that day, she asked, "Grandpa, who is Ruth?" Abraham's eyes filled with tears. "My daughter, my little daughter. What happened to her?" I couldn't save her, because her name was on the list too." "What list, Grandpa?" Abraham went quiet. But this time he wasn't confused. He was afraid. In January 2024, while Rachel was collecting her grandfather's belongings from his old house, she found a secret box in the attic. Inside was an old diary, written in Hebrew. First page, Bergen-Belsen Diary, Abraham Goldman, 1944. Rachel knew Hebrew. As she turned the pages, she was shocked enough to stop her heart. April 15th, 1944. SS Oberfuhrer Kramer called me. Abraham, you're an educated man. If you help us, you and your daughter will live. They want me to inform on other prisoners. April 17th, 1944. I gave them the first list. Hans Meyer, Johann Weiss, Klaus Berger, 10 names. They took them at night. Rachel's hands began to tremble. Was this real? The diary became more horrific. April 25th, 1944. Ruth is sick. The SS won't let us get food. Kramer said, we need a bigger list, 50 names. I have to do it. April 30th, 1944. I gave 50 names. Among them is Jacob Rosen, a good man who helped me. But I'm doing it for Ruth. May 5th, 1944. Ruth died. Not from illness, from hunger. Kramer lied to me. But it's too late now. I've given over 100 names. Rachel continued reading while crying. May 10th, 1944. I became a capo. Now I control other prisoners to survive. But every night I see the faces of the dead. The diary's final page devastated Rachel. August 15th, 1944. The camp was liberated. British soldiers came. I didn't say I was a capo. I said I was a prisoner, trying to escape. Now I'm known as a hero. Total. I informed on 200 names. I caused the death of 200 people. Among them were my best friends. I will take this secret to the grave. But Ruth, I will never forgive myself for not saving little Ruth. Rachel cried for hours. The 80-year family legend had crumbled. The next day, Rachel visited her grandfather at the care facility. She had brought the diary with her. Grandpa, I read this diary. When Abraham saw the diary, he froze. Where did you find it? In the attic of your house. Grandpa, were you a capo? Abraham remained silent for a long time. Then he began to cry. Rachel, I was very young, very scared. You informed on 200 people. To save Ruth. I would have done anything to save my little daughter. But you couldn't save her, and 200 innocent people died. Abraham was sobbing uncontrollably. I know. I've lived with this for 80 years. Rachel consulted with Dr. Chen again. Doctor, my grandfather was telling the truth. Is Alzheimer's forcing him to confess? Mrs. Goldman, Alzheimer's sometimes releases memories that have been suppressed for a long time. The brain's mechanisms for controlling trauma weaken, so he's been consciously suppressing this secret for 80 years. Yes, and now he can no longer suppress it. This must be very painful for him. What should I do? That's up to you. But remember, he's also a victim, a different kind of victim. Rachel discussed the situation with her husband, David. David, what should I do? My grandfather has been known as a hero for 80 years. Now we learn he caused the death of 200 people. Rachel, he was only 22 years old. He was trying to save his daughter. But 200 people? Is this acceptable? It's not acceptable, but it's understandable. What would you have done in that situation? Rachel couldn't answer. The moral dilemma was too complex. Rachel met with Holocaust Memorial Museum director, Dr. Stephen Rosenberg. Dr. Rosenberg, what I'm about to tell you will be shocking. She told Abraham's real story. Dr. Rosenberg froze. Mrs. Goldman, if this is true, we have a major problem at our museum. What do you mean? Your grandfather's story has been exhibited for 40 years. Visitors see him as the Bergen-Belsen hero. What happens now? This is a very sensitive matter. We need legal consultation before making a decision. Rachel consulting with Holocaust expert Rabbi Daniel Goldstein. Rabbi, what should be done in such a situation? Rachel, the situation of Kapos during the Holocaust is very complex. They were also victims, but at the same time accomplices. Is my grandfather guilty? He was forced to make impossible choices, but his choices led to the death of innocent people. Does it make sense to reveal this after 80 years? The truth should always come to light, but in doing so, we must remember both the victims and Abraham. Rachel visited her grandfather one last time. Abraham was speaking more clearly now. Rachel, you read the diary, didn't you? Yes, Grandpa. Then you know the truth. I'm not a hero. I'm a killer. Grandpa, you were also a victim. You were forced. No, Rachel. I chose. I killed 200 people to save Ruth, and in the end, I couldn't save her either. Abraham was crying. For 80 years, I see them every night. Hans, Johann, Jacob, they all look at me. What do you want me to do? Tell the truth. I can't live a lie anymore. Rachel decided to reveal the story. But how? Should she write an academic paper? Make a documentary? Give it to the press? Dr. Rosenberg's suggestion. First talk to Holocaust experts, then reveal it gradually. But Abraham didn't have much time left. Doctors said he was in the final stage. In March 2024, Abraham Goldman died at age 95. His last words to Rachel: "Now I'll be with Ruth, and I'll apologize to the others." 200 people attended his funeral. Most came because of his heroism story. The rabbi's speech. Abraham Goldman was a complex person, a person who had to make life's most difficult choices. Rachel had not yet revealed the truth. In April 2024, Rachel gave a lecture at the Holocaust Memorial Museum. "Today, I will tell you the real story of my grandfather, Abraham Goldman." The 200-person hall fell into silence. She read portions of the diary. She explained that he was a capo. She detailed the 200 informants. Reactions from the hall: "This can't be possible. He was a hero. How can you say such a thing?" But some also supported, "The truth must be told." After the conference, a great debate began. Holocaust experts were divided. One group: Kapos were also victims, shouldn't be judged. Other group: accomplices, must not be forgotten. The museum temporarily closed Abraham's exhibit. Rachel published her grandfather's diary. Book title: Gray Area, Diary of a Holocaust Capo. This story shows us that history is not black and white. There are gray areas. Abraham Goldman was neither a complete hero nor a complete villain. He was a person forced to make impossible choices under impossible conditions. The most painful aspect of the Holocaust was not just Nazi cruelty, but also how it turned people against each other. The Kapos system is the most tragic example of this. Rachel's courage in revealing the 80-year lie shows us that the truth must always be told, even if it's painful. And most importantly, every victim's story is different. Some involve heroism, some survival, and some complex moral choices. What would you have done in such a situation? Would you have informed on others to save your 5-year-old daughter? Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us which city you're watching from. On the Human Stories channel, we share these kinds of complex human stories every week. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell, because history isn't just made up of heroes and villains, but also of people living in the gray areas between them. Until we meet in the next story. Until then, think twice before making definitive judgments about history.